Alright fellas, after a wild weekend in boxing, there's a lot to unpack, but the name still dominating headlines is Ryan Garcia. At this point, following his latest performance, we have to seriously ask the question, is Ryan Garcia overrated? Or is there more to this unpredictable career than meets the eye? I'm Kloster, and this is your one-stop shop for everything boxing, from knockouts and controversies to deep dives and breakdowns. So, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. Now, love him or hate him, Ryan Garcia is a name you can't ignore. Whether you think he's legit or a hype train waiting to crash, one thing's for sure. When Ryan fights, people tune in. That's not by accident. He was one of the first boxers to blow up through social media. Before his skills did the talking, it was his following, his charisma, and his image that put him on the map. But don't get it twisted. Ryan wasn't just a TikTok boxer. He had a solid amateur background. It's just that when he broke onto the scene, he did it in a way we'd never really seen before, collaborating with influencers, standing next to YouTubers, and positioning himself as the guy from boxing in the digital space. And once he started scoring highlight reel knockouts, that momentum exploded. He became one of the most marketable names in the sport. He had the looks, the style, the following, and the power to back it up. At that point, promoters didn't even care if he was the most complete fighter or not. He was a draw, and that alone would guarantee him big fights. But here's the catch. Ryan became a star before he became a fully developed fighter. And that's where the problem started. Young, rich, and living it up in LA, surrounded by the social scene, clout, distractions, you name it. Boxing, as we all know, requires a level of discipline that most athletes can't even comprehend. It's a lonely, brutal grind, and Ryan clearly has had a hard time keeping focused. Over time, we saw more and more of his personal battles spill into the public eye, mental health breaks, inactivity, switching camps. Yet even through that, his boxing career kept rolling. Why? Because when he showed up, he usually delivered. At least enough to keep people watching. But then came the Gervonta Davis fight. That was the turning point. Now, props to Ryan. He pushed for the Tank fight even when his own promoters were hesitant. But, let's be honest, going into that fight, he was still raw. He had glaring flaws. A lazy lead hand, stiff upper body, minimal head movement, balance issues, and an upright stance that left him exposed. Tank, being the technician he is, picked him apart. One clean shot to the body and it was lights out. Now, a loss to Gervonta Davis is nothing to be ashamed of. But what was concerning is what came next. He came back against Oscar Duarte. And while it was a solid win, it didn't really feel like he addressed any of the flaws that Tank exposed. But hey, a win is a win. Then came Devin Haney. Now that fight gave fans hope. Ryan looked sharper, he jabbed well, showed some patience, and even dropped Haney multiple times. It was impressive, no doubt, but you also have to consider the matchup. Haney looked lost, fighting someone his own size and with real pop in their shots. It was part skill, part style clash. So naturally, going into the Rolly Romero fight, people were optimistic, myself included. I said Ryan would win that fight easily, but man, I could not have been more wrong. On fight night, Rolly showed up with a plan. You could tell he'd done his homework. He adjusted, stayed composed, and executed. Ryan, on the other hand, looked like a deer in headlights. That signature left hook? Nowhere to be found. No plan B, no in-fight adjustment. It looked like he didn't even have a real strategy. And that brings us to a bigger problem. Ryan Garcia has never had a stable coaching setup. He's bounced around from Joe Goosen to Eddie Reynoso to Derek James and even back to his own family. At some point, you have to ask, does Ryan really trust anyone to coach him? Because it's one thing to have talent. But talent without structure, without discipline, without guidance, it only takes you so far. And that's where Ryan's at right now. On paper, he should be a future star. But in reality, he's stuck in a cycle of hype, inconsistency, and missed opportunity. Now, let's talk legacy. If Ryan Garcia retired tomorrow, what does he leave behind? No full world titles, a couple of big names on his resume, sure, but no signature win that cements his place in boxing history. Compare that. To Devin Haney, multiple world titles across divisions and an undisputed crown. It's not even close. Ryan's biggest weapon isn't his jab or his hook, it's his marketing. He's got mainstream appeal that most boxers can only dream of. But as far as being a great in the sport, he's not there yet. Not even close. And what's next? A Haney rematch? A jump to fight Jaron Boots Ennis? Either way, those are dangerous matchups. From this point forward, it's sink or swim. If he tightens up, finds a reliable camp, and builds real momentum, he's talented enough to crack the bottom half of the pound-for-pound list. But if the distractions stay and the same issues keep popping up, he'll never fulfill the promise we all saw in him. The thing is, boxing fans have short memories. One comeback performance can flip the narrative. Look at Teofimo Lopez. After the Kambosos loss and shaky fights afterward, people thought he was finished. Then he bounced back and reminded everyone what he's made of. Same with Rolly, honestly. He's had losses and setbacks, but worked through them and figured it out. Ryan still has time. If he makes the right changes, this loss could just be a bump in the road. But that's a big if. So now I'll throw it to you. What did you make of Ryan's latest performance? Is he just overhyped, or does he still have the tools to become one of the best in the game? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps a ton. Appreciate you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.